Hey guys, Louis here from thelanguagescientist.com, and in today's video I'm reviewing Rocket Languages French, or in other words, Rocket French, which is a website for learning French. And so, by the way, I have a link to a free trial that you can get for Rocket French in the description. After the free trial, you'll also get an offer with a discounted price for Rocket French if you want to try it out. Check out the link in the description. Now, Rocket French, just to give you a small sort of introduction, is actually a French course, an online course. You have the website, you have the mobile app, and it is a tool from the Rocket Languages company, which is located in New Zealand. And so it's one of the oldest, online language learning companies. They've actually released their first program, which is Rocket Spanish, which I have talked about in the past, in 2005. So it's been almost 20 years at this point. So in this video, in this review of Rocket French, I'm going to be answering multiple questions, and number one is the one that most people are the most interested in, which is, can you get fluent in French just using, Rocket French? Like if you start from like zero, total beginner, and you do the 3 levels of Rocket French, can you have conversations in French? Conversational fluency, not necessarily like become like a native speaker or anything, but can you have fluent conversations? Question number 2 is going to be, how can you get the best price possible for Rocket French? And I'm going to show you how you can do this, because actually they have this system of like discounts, and it depends on when and from where you access their offers. So I'm going to use my own experience of learning multiple languages, among which English. So English is my second language. I had to learn it myself. My native language is French, so I'm going to use my perspective as a French speaker as well to evaluate Rocket French. Okay, so let me give you sort of the TLDR, the overall summary of this video first. If your goal is to learn academic French, and pass exams and stuff like that, then Rocket French is probably not for you. But on the other hand, if you're looking for an all-in-one tool to really hit the ground running and get you to a conversational level, conversational fluency in French, then Rocket French is one of the best tools on the market. Why is that? Well, that's because Rocket French is actually unapologetic about its focus on conversations. As a matter of fact, if you look at the logo here, Rocket Languages, it says, "Let's get talking," just below. So Rocket French is going to allow you to participate in French conversations in real time, and it's going to grade your pronunciation. And obviously, I'm going to show you in detail what this looks like, and really, this is a really good feature of Rocket French. So let's talk about how much it costs, because I want to just get this out of the way, because I show you the details about the platform and the app. So I'm going to go on the pricing page here, and you'll see that actually it looks pretty expensive at first, but here you have multiple plans. So you have level 1 and 2, level 1, 2, and 3, and actually those are lifetime prices. So once you pay that price, you get access to the course forever. You don't need, it's not like a monthly subscription, which monthly subscription end up being pretty expensive. There's a 6-month plan as well, meaning that you're going to be paying for the course over with installments over a period of 6 months. Now, I'm not really familiar with this plan. I don't know if it's like a subscription or it's like installments where you pay 6 times and then you get lifetime access. I'm not really sure about that. I feel like the one-time payment deal is better, because most of the time when you get special offers, it's going to be applicable on the one-time payment. And one way in which you can get those special offers is take a look at the link in the description. You can click on it, create a free account on Rocket Languages French, and during the trial you will have a special offer with a significant discount. So you can just try it out first if you want to determine whether or not it's for you. All right, now let's talk about how Rocket French is organized. So the entire Rocket French course consists of 3 levels. As you can see here on the pricing page, I'm going to go back on the dashboard page. So there's level 1, level 2, and level 3. And by the way, in this video, I'm just going to assume that you have the 3 levels. Because I think that's what most people get. I don't see why you would get just level 1 or level 1 and 2. So each module, so each level has multiple modules. So 9 modules, 8 modules, and 8 modules here as well. And each module, so I'm going to go on the module page. This is one module here. Module 1, for example, has lessons, and it's around 10 lessons on average. So you have the first type of lessons, it's audio lessons. You have 4 of them here. And you have the language and cultural lessons. It's 4 of them as well. So each lesson, and I'm going to go on the lesson page here, I have a tab open. That's an audio lesson, and the audio lesson is going to have the audio to be played here, and this is going to last, this is what I think this is the time required is here, 24 minutes. That's the audio track play time, so that's 24 minutes. And then below that, you have some other activities like flashcards, hear it and say it, write it. So those are the supplementary activities, and you should be expecting to spend around, I would say, about 10 minutes on those activities in total. They're not mandatory, but yeah, it's about 10 minutes in total. So in my opinion, a realistic goal for Rocket French would be to complete about 1 lesson a day. Even if you don't do the supplementary activities, I feel like 1 lesson a day is very realistic and digestible. Now, let me talk about the lessons in detail. So I'm going to go here on the module page just to remind you that there are 2 types of lessons. So audio lessons, which are interactive audio lessons. I'm going to talk about that. And then you have language and cultural lessons, which are really like the kind of like the textbook part of Rocket French. It's grammatical explanations plus some cultural points as well. So let me first talk about the interactive audio lessons. So that's the page we were on. The interactive audio lessons are based around a conversation between 2 French speakers that are adapted to the level that you're at. And so you have an audio player here. I'm not going to play it, but if I played it, then you would see the subtitles sort of being highlighted in real time. In this audio here, I can actually play it in the mobile app, offline, so I can download the audio for offline listening, or I can click the button here to download the MP3 file, so I can actually learn on the go. And that's really a huge plus for me, because I don't want to actually sit down and actively have to study French for long periods of time. So this makes the program really sustainable, which is something that I really like. You're really likely to complete it because a lot of it is just audio. Now, the audio here in the lesson is very interactive. It's kind of like Pimsleur, where you're going to be prompted to actually participate in the lesson, respond to some questions, repeat some sentences, and so on, which makes it very sort of like entertaining, and also it keeps you on your toes at all times, and you're just really active in the lesson. Now, after you're finished with the audio lesson here, there's actually a section on the website, I think it's in the app as well, named Play It. And essentially what this is you can play the part of one of the characters in the conversation. So for example, this conversation is between Paul and Claire. So I can actually try to play that conversation as if I was Paul. So I'm going to click on play on as Paul here. And so what this is going to do, let's take a look. Salut.
Comment vous appelez-vous?
Je m'appelle Paul. All right, so you get the point here. So Claire is going to speak, and then when comes the time for Paul to respond, I'm going to have to respond, and then Rocket French is going to grade my pronunciation here. Now, a little word on the pronunciation grading tool. Overall, I'd say it's good, but it's obviously not perfect. Here it graded me, 100. I mean, I'm a native French speaker, so I hope it would, of course it grades me 100%, but I feel like even if you mispronounce some things, it may grade you 100%. The point is that as long as you don't mispronounce something like really bad, it's going to grade you 100%. Look, at the end of the day, this feature is not perfect, but the point is here, just the fact that you're able to have interactive conversations on the website here is a miracle to me. I haven't seen that in any other language, online language learning tool. So this is really great, and this is definitely a killer feature of Rocket French, in my opinion. All right, so now let me talk about the language and cultural lessons. But just before I talk about the language and cultural lessons, I just want to go back on the interactive audio lessons for a little bit, because I feel like a lot of people don't realize how good the fact that you can actually just listen to those lessons, when you're commuting, working out and stuff like that. Okay, if you're just listening to them, maybe you're not going to be able to do the supplementary activities and see the script and so on, but it's perfectly acceptable to do this. And the fact that you're able to just listen your way through the program, at least the audio lessons, it's a huge plus. You're gaining a lot of time, and so you can just use your commute time, which is kind of wasted most of the time, and use it to learn French. You're not having to invest any kind of active time. This is really great. All right, so enough of me ranting. Now let me talk about the language and culture lessons. So these are really like, this is a second type of lessons in Rocket French, and these lessons cover grammatical points as well as cultural information. So this is the textbook part of Rocket French. The big difference with a textbook is that, as you can see on the page here, you have text, but then you have an audio player embedded, multiple audio players embedded. You can also grade your pronunciation of multiple words, and you will have supplementary activities as well at the end of the lesson. So if I scroll down here at the bottom, you'll see that there is some cultural information. This is fairly limited compared with the grammatical information, as it should be, in my opinion. So keep in mind that the interactive audio lessons, the first type of lessons I've talked about just earlier, are going to cover some grammar as well. Maybe not as explicitly, but through the conversation, you're going to be able to get some grammar as well. Now, the grammar lessons here on Rocket French are fairly short compared with a regular textbook, so don't expect to find like walls of grammar, as you can see here. Well, the page is pretty long, but it's mostly because there are lots of audio players embedded. So overall, Rocket French actually does a good job of really breaking down complex grammatical points into more digestible chunks, which is how grammar should be taught, in my opinion, because most people will not really benefit and will not be able to actually go through a really comprehensive grammar program. This is not to say that Rocket French is lacking in its in its grammar. It's actually quite comprehensive compared with other online language learning tools. But yeah, it's very digestible chunks, very understandable. They really did a good job on the grammatical lessons. Now, let me talk about the biggest drawback of Rocket French. And I feel like after a few weeks of using Rocket French, a lot of people will start to feel somewhat bored, I suppose. And it's totally normal. And this is not because Rocket French is itself boring. There's nothing inherently boring about Rocket French, at least compared with the other language learning tools. But it's just that, Rocket French is aimed at people who are total beginners, or maybe, just starting to learn French. Maybe you have some of the basics down, but you're not good at it. And I guess my experience is that no matter what kind of language, online language learning tool or app you use, it's going to be boring in the beginning. And it's not because of the tool, it's because of you. It's because you're at a very low level. It's hard to enjoy yourself at this kind of level. When I studied languages like Japanese, for example, I have reached a fairly high level in that language, so I'm able to study with stuff that is a lot more interesting. I can watch Netflix, I can listen to stuff that I like and stuff like that. But the only reason why I'm able to do this in the first place is because I actually put in the work. In the beginning, I went through those beginner and intermediate phases fairly quickly, so that I could be, in the future able to, learn with more interesting material. So what you really need is a tool to learn French and really hit the ground running, and really get started and get past through those initial phases. And Rocket French is a really good tool to do that, because if you go through the 3 levels, you're going to be in a pretty good spot to start learning with Netflix and start learning with podcasts and so on, and have conversations with French speakers. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video. Once again, Rocket French is a really great tool if you want to learn French, and it's really all in one. You don't need to look for anything else. Once again, there's a link in the description of this video if you want to get access to a free trial for Rocket French. In addition to that, if you click the link in the description, you'll also have an offer during the trial with a significant discount. I think usually for the 3 levels it's around $190. Although don't quote me on that. It really depends on when their current program, their current offers and so on. So that's pretty much it. If you want to learn more about me, you can go to languagescientist.com, and I'll see you in the next video.